Good afternoon, Gossip Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I've got Amanda Murray and Grant Morrell. How are you guys?
Good, 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 good. Busy and good.
Busy and good.
Busy and good.
It's good to be busy.
It's going to be busy. It's a busy time of year. It's a busy time of year. I think we're busy.
Amanda, are you busy?
Yeah, it's report card time at work, so it's been a very busy month. Has felt very long.
Awesome. So our topic today is a new concept in AI philosophy or just contender to the throne. So artificial intelligence has evolved beyond mere computational tools, imaging as a subject of deep philosophical inquiry. So as AI system becomes more sophisticated, questions arise. Are we witnessing a paradigm shift in AI philosophy, or are we witnessing a paradigm, a development, just incremental improvement within established framework? Grant, I know you chose this topic. Would you like to explain to our audience what
Yes, I would indeed. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nomsa. So, firstly, I want to say to our Asian audience, the Chinese audience, Happy New Year, because it's Chinese New Year today and it is the year of the snake. So, yes, I was told that I should be wearing something red today. Well, I am. And I'm going to leave it at that. But for those of you who'd like to see something visual and red, there you go. Something red to suit the British weather, and it's Chinese New Year. So yes, it's Year of the Snake. And what I want to talk about today, I'll be celebrating later that with my Asian friends. But I want to talk about something very big that's hit the news recently. Something that was timed with President Trump being sworn back in, and also to time really with the Chinese New Year. I'm talking about something in the AI world, the world of AI. I'm talking about China's answer rather to GPT. I'm talking about DeepSeek. Yeah, DeepSeek came out on the 20th of January and took the market by storm. Why? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it better? Is it worse? I've heard various reviews, but that's not really the main point. It's the philosophy behind it. And that's perhaps what we want to dig into today. Okay. It's a different approach to what America have taken. So we're talking about DeepSeek and we're timing that along with Chinese New Year, what is today. That's what I feel like saying. Over to you, Amanda.
You're gonna have to explain to me what DeepSeek is, because I don't even actually know. Like, I've used AI a little bit in like the classroom and just exploring it a little bit myself, but I don't actually know what DeepSeek is. So can you explain it to us? Because it seems like it's something fairly new.
Absolutely, absolutely. DeepSeek is a new and a pretty much secretive AI system. So think of ChatGPT. It's China's answer to that. So here's the big contest about it. They didn't know it was there. There's been a trade embargo, if you will, correct me if I'm not using exactly the right term here, whereby America did not, under the Biden administration, did not want, and I don't want to get political about this, that's not what I'm about, but they would not allowing any high grade chips to be exported to China. Okay, there wasn't. However, the founder of DeepSeek acquired a load of them quite legally, acquired a load of them before the ban was taking place, quite a load of them. So he built DeepSeek with his colleagues and he's built it with a lot of NVIDIA high grade chips and a lot of other lower grade chips while the AI was learning. Okay, so done. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Compared to the cost that America had put into generating AI, China has done it on a real budget. DeepSeek was brought about through a hedge fund of, I believe, $5 to $6 million. That's it. It was just a kind of side hustle project that they put together. And they brought this out and they're saying it's as good as ChatGPT, if not better. I've read varying reports. In some ways, it does great stuff. In some ways, it doesn't. But it's learning. It's learning. Here's the other point. The whole philosophy and approach to it is different. In Guangzhou, which is in the southeast China, just on the where you got Hong Kong, you go across the river and you go there by ferry onto the tip of China. I've been there, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. That's kind of where it's in the Guangdong province. That's kind of where it's all happened. So, and there's been some great people from great universities who are there. There's like three great ones from that part of the world. Rather unlike America, so I'm hearing from the reports, it's actually saying now that the Chinese approach is to make it open source. So it's for the greater good of the community, the Chinese community, really effectively. So doing that, completely different approach. And they're saying by people combining ideas and working together, they're getting a greater result for and they're growing quicker for the result and the better of the good. So it's really thrown a spanner between the works. Not only that, it's not the stock market figures for six. It has thrown it into turmoil. It has gone crazy because of it. So it really, when you say game changer, yeah, they timed it well. It was a PR dream. They did it when Donald Trump came back into power again, and also timed it. It was on that day. It was on the day on the 20th of January, and also Chinese New Year. So Chinese websites and tech websites are saying, what a great New Year gift. And that's it. But again, the verdict's out. Does it work as well as? But that may not even be the biggest problem. Is it working as well as? Is it not? Well, it's new, so AIs learn. But the point is the concept. That it's a bit of a game changer with the concept. There are arguments, there are counter arguments into economy, how they can afford to make it that low because of cost of payments, etc., and labour charges, etc. There's all these arguments, which all I'm sure have valid points to them, but nonetheless, the material facts remain that. So that's where we are. That's what it's about. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Will you use it? Would you let your kids use it? What do you think? That's what I want to put here today. And if anybody's listening online, please type in your questions, type in your thoughts, because Momsa will be scanning those and keeping on, because we'd love to answer those live for you or discuss it if we can. Sorry, Amanda, over to you.
I think I don't know enough about specifically DeepSpeak to speak on if it is good or not in comparison to ChatGPT and other AI sources. I know I've used on Canva, I've used their AI to play with the kids to be like, okay, if we write something really descriptive, what kind of image will it show up? will it create? And they put in parts of their stories. This was a couple years ago, so it's probably gotten better since then. But I'd make them put in what they wanted to describe in their stories and then see if it would create an illustration for them. And so it was really, really neat to see. But they were like, these pictures aren't doing what I wanted to do. And they get so mad because the picture in their head versus what was coming out. They're like, look at the hands, they're awful. And it was really, really neat to see because it was okay, they had these images in their head and the AI wasn't spitting out what they wanted. And so it was really neat. And I'd like to do it over again. I just haven't had enough time in the classroom to really play with that again, as I've been teaching in a big open classroom of 46 kids instead of just having my 26 or whatever, not that I used to have. So doing playing with AI, we don't have enough computers to do it. Let each kid play with it the way I had in the past. But it definitely I hear the positives and the negatives to it, right? It's taking people are writing full books with AI, and it's well, does that take away from the authenticity? And then who actually owns that? And all of these things, there's lots of, I use it for brainstorming. I really do. I'm make this better. And then it spits out something else. And then I'm okay, I like these pieces of it or that, or I would use it for Instagram posts, but I haven't used it as much as I would like to necessarily explore. Nomza, have you used any AI things at all? Have you explored with them? I think like I'm going to 2 different sessions on AI in the classroom during teachers convention this year. So I'm excited to see if they'll teach me more about it, but more than I already know. Um, like I do have a master's in education technology, but that was from 10 years ago. So like all of these things have changed. Like the technology that was like cutting edge when I was doing my master's is like completely obsolete and you'd never even think about using it anymore. And so my focus with technology in the classroom is always like, how can we use what's ever new to be more creative in the classroom? And that's how I kind of approach it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I definitely think when you look at, I know people are worried when it comes from China, like there was talks about TikTok bans because of like spyware that was on it. And
Right.
so I wonder if there's concerns about that with the AI that's coming out of China. And so then where's where's the rules or the laws or the like safety guards to protect people would be my questions.
Good point. Good point. Nom, sir, you're a mother of children, not surprisingly. What else would you be a mother of? But you're a mother of children. What's your view on AI?
I use AI a lot. Yeah, I'm an expert in AI. AI is my friend.
Wow. You could be a prompt engineer, I'm telling you.
I use AI a lot. When it came out first, I was like, but then I've realized I don't want to be left behind. So I try to stay connected with what is going on. It's good for just creating, like researching. It helps me a lot, saving time if I need to research something. And it's like it helps me a lot. Like I had like Brad got stuck. I sent you a message with 50 words. I was
Yeah.
writing 16,000 essay of words and got stuck. But it does help giving you some key points and ideas on where to look for, focus on and stuff like that. Or sometimes when I write my essay, I put it on the whole document on AI, and it will criticize me and say, oh, this part is weak, that part is this, that part, or this part is strong. You comment where there is a strength, you comment where there's weakness, you will just trash me. Yeah. So I use that. And also I use AI I've not done it, but I've got all these AI. I used to do it for, I use it for YouTube thumbnails. And I use it for, what else do I use? Pictures, creating pictures. Because pictures are so expensive to take pictures, like to go and take headshot. It's like £400. So if I take a headshot, I go and take original headshot for that amount. And then when I come back, and then I choose different style, and then AI will bring out different clothing stuff, different headshots, so which is good. And I use it a lot. So like today, I'll be using it for keywords to snoop into other businesses that are doing similar business like mine. Just have a look at their keywords, what kind of keywords. There's a specific AI that you can check what kind of specific keywords that make them send them on top on Google. And then the AI, then it will suggest them, they're using these keywords, use these ones to be on top of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I use all that, but it's good for business. I know it's really, really scary. And also, I think the scary part with AI is the fraud, because there will be times where when you ask ChatGPT about, if I put my date of birth, it will just bring out the whole information of mine. But that is scary.
What was that you saying, Nom, sir? I lost you there for a second.
I mean, if you put your date of birth, or if someone has your date of birth, will AI be able to bring all your information?
the danger, there's various things that you can do to it for it not to learn or it to learn, etc. Let's be honest, it's a double-edged sword. I spoke about this at Oxford University. A round table there, and I spoke, and I gave my opinion. I cannot speak facts. I can only speak opinions, and everybody has an opinion. In my opinion, human psychology, people will be inherently selfish. We will use it, even if to a certain extent it bends your moral values, because people have strict moral values and bendable moral values, and people are malleable. We don't like to admit it, but we actually are. Some people to more extent than others, but people will use it to their own selfish needs. The propensity for blackmail, for fakes, are astronomical. We've seen joke fakes of politicians saying obscene things. We've probably all seen it, and we know it's a fake. But boy, are they good. If it wasn't so obvious, you may question it. Now, because of what I understand, the more often you're seen on screen, so think of a celebrity, a politician, they're seen on screen a lot. It's easier to replicate that. Someone who's not seen on screen a lot will be a little bit harder because there's less material to amalgamate, if you will. It is very simple terms. Technical people will be able to explain it a lot more complicated, but I like to make it simple. But be careful of those people who are out there. Though be careful of people like us who are on podcasts and things all the time, because Amanda, you could make something on me, I could make something on you, we can make something on Nobs, and Nobs can make something on us, which looks funny. Which means there's a lot of silly people in them. They may believe what they see. Most people, oh, I read it in the newspaper as if it's true. It's an opinion, it's a viewpoint. Someone says something doesn't make it true. We've all heard lies said before. And that can now be done with audio and visual. It could be true. Equally, there's a counterpoint to that. If someone puts something out there, your classic answer would be, well, it's just a deep fake. Pay no attention to it. So it can, but again, there's no smoke without fire. The expression goes, if you throw enough mud, some of it will stick. And it will. People will believe what confirms their bias. So if someone wants to believe something negative about you and then they read it, they'll go, there you go, I told you. I knew there was something wrong with that person. Because it will confirm their bias. Whether there's any evidence behind it or not, people will want to hold on to that belief. And any evidence that pats them on the back and says, you were right. People do that. So, yeah, it's not just as simple as proving it. Even pretty much evidence or lack of evidence doesn't necessarily justify something in someone's mind. People will make decisions emotionally. So there is that. However, I do believe human nature, things will go all one way until it affects someone close to them, someone they know, someone they love, a family member, a loved one, a friend. When that happens, they will sit up and say, oh my God, that is bad. People don't care about other people too much. They care when it happens to them or someone close to them. That's when they'll listen. And that's when I think the world will start to get an ethical equilibrium of way to use it sensibly. But I do fear human nature, we don't necessarily use things sensibly. We were all going to use emails, weren't we, to cut down on time. We was all going to work 3 hours a day, wasn't we, and spend all our time with our loved ones and educating kids and doing wonderful things and doing chat. That's what we was going to. What do we do? Now we just sent more emails so we could be more productive than the business next door. Right? That's what we all did. Silly, I think if the aliens come down and look at us, they'll say, these guys really haven't got it yet, have they? They really haven't understood how to live properly. Yeah. We give them every opportunity and they just screw it up. Yeah, we get greedy with it. So we work just as hard, if not harder than ever before, because we make more production and because we want to be ahead of the next person. The problem is the person next to us is doing exactly the same. So it's just a race. We just get there faster, but you know what? We're still in the same positions we ever were. We haven't quite got it, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's what happened with emails. Are we going to do the same with AI? I rather suspect so. But it could be used for good. How it can be used in the medical world. I gave a brief talk at the Anglian Ruskin University about this. It just like 10 ways it can be used in the medical field alone. It's astronomical to cut down on mistakes, to a big thing is documentation and records, for example, records from one hospital to another is still glaringly inadequate in many ways, and there can be obviously bad outcomes as a result of that. AI, instant access to technology from anywhere in the world, is coming. It's coming. So that's going to be surgical microsurgery using with AI, learning, etc. Now, ChatGTP, because I wasn't here last Wednesday, the reason was I was away learning, I was upskilling, and I was on a course about AI, the latest. I mean, we know a bit about AI, but the latest trends. So I was actually learning to do it, but I'm a big picture guy. I was looking at the overview of where AI is going, digital marketing, social media, and thought leadership. Really interesting couple of days. But they were saying Chat GTP, they was asking how many of you use the free version? Okay. That's perhaps got the IQ of an American high school kid. The paid version, what's that, $20 a month, has got the IQ of a PhD student. That has passed the American, if you're training to be a doctor, the exam to become a doctor, a medical doctor, it's passed that. The American legal bar exam, it's passed that. The entry examination to get into the top universities of America, it's passed that. That's what you have at your fingertips for $20 a month. Is that cheaper than an employee? I was looking at some hiring cost of people, which would be about $50,000 a year. You're getting that for $20 a month. Won't go sick, won't have paternity leave, won't have paternity leave, won't have a mental health day. It's there at your fingertips. One of the guys said he wanted his lawyer to sort something out for his company, and basically that was going to cost £28,000. He went to ChatGTP, the paid version, put some criteria into it, got it, and then said, can you rephrase it in this way? Then can you organize it that way? And then can you apply that to my business? And it did. He used that as a draft. It didn't take a few minutes. It took a little bit longer than that, but not long. Gave it to his lawyer. He said, look, I see, I want, this is what I'm kind of thinking along the lines. Am I in the right ballpark? But I really like that. Instead of 28,000, I really kind of want this done for less than 3,000. The lawyer came back and said, well, you've done a fair bit of it there. I can do that for 2,800. So you say what, 26,000, sorry, 20, was that 27? Yeah, £26,200. Is that right? 26,000? No, £25,800 he saved, and it cost him 37 pence. And hardly any time. Done. So quite staggering what it can and cannot do if you know how to use it. People are asking questions about storing their private information. And please do your own due diligence on this. But I thought I heard them saying you can adjust the settings so that it does not learn from you. Okay, so it doesn't store. There's many ways you can do it. Prompt engineering is one of the highest paid professions right now. Prompt engineer is knowing exactly the right phrases to put in, because the result we will get from AI, of course, depends greatly on the quality and the style of the way you ask it questions. Makes a huge difference. And someone who's an expert at that, professional expert, is known as a prompt engineer. Yeah, very great job if you know how to do it. Did you tell me, Amanda, you got some kids at school who are doing some pretty awesome stuff with that?
Not with the prompting, no, but they did some pretty amazing things with programming Sphero, so coding and coding on Scratch, which is really quite amazing. What they learn how to do and how they learn how to do it is so cool. Like they know more than I do, and we've been doing a whole bunch of different things with technology in the classroom, but not like it's so interesting when you're like, okay, a prompt engineer is making this much money. Like they're how our jobs have changed, right? And when you talk about like the lawyer who needed, or the person who needed a lawyer to, and then they were able to do a lot of it on their own. That's what I think we're going to see, is a lot of like law firms and stuff being like, okay, we don't need to be so top heavy in lawyers when we can get a lot of it done through AI. And then we just need like a certain number of lawyers for
Mm,
these areas because we can look up so much of it, right? And even for myself, like with my divorce and stuff, I've used AI to ask like certain questions about how I can like understand this better and different things like that, just to like get insight into things, right? And so then too, I always like fact check things. So when you do read something on AI, then I double check it by like doing some Google searches and stuff. But I think sometimes, like you were saying before too, with the deep fakes, that we have to be aware of that, right? We have to, I think when we look at kids and what they're looking at in schools now, we really need to be building critical thinking skills
right,
because
right,
yeah, because when we can give like it, retaining information is no longer valuable. Like our ability to like regurgitate the multiplication tables, all of those things is not really a super valuable skill anymore. Whereas a number of years ago, when we didn't have calculators and we had to use abacuses, that would have been a skill that was like important, right? And that person who was really quick at math or really quick at doing um equations in their head, that was a skill that could have been seeked out because we didn't have calculators or computers. And now retaining that information in that way is not helpful. What's going to be helpful is your ability to critically think about things, your ability to think outside the box and be able to create, right? And that's one of the things that AI is actually like doing, is they're being able to create content very quickly. But as humans, one of our skills is going to be, can we decipher that information, right? Can we decipher that information into what is true? What's the biases? Where do I stand on this? What's the ethics behind it? Those are the skills that I think are going to be really, really essential to teach kids, and our curriculum is so behind on those things. And I don't know what it is like in Europe, but where I am in Alberta, we're not considering those things in the way that I think we should be. A lot of it is going back to rote memorization and like testing kids on some really strange things that I'm like, are we actually looking to the future is what I want to ask the people that run the government, is like, are we looking to the future and what the future is actually going to need? And how do we teach kids skills today that are going to actually be useful in the future that we don't even know? Like
right.
when I did my master's 10 years ago, thinking about AI like this was not something that was even like really thought of at that time. My master's was in education technology. Like we talked about AI a little bit, but it seemed like it was something that was way off in the future. And we were talking about like building watches that were going to be able to monitor your heart rate and all of the different things. And it's like that was
Right.
what was going to be cutting edge then, like having watches that could tell you all of these things and could monitor you and you could do these things with it. That was kind of the cutting edge like thinking that was happening at that point in time with like user-centered design. And so now when you think about user-centered design too, it's like with ChatGPT, how are we making it accessible to all in a user-friendly way, but also in a way that's not going to be bias, right? We need to be able to have like
Sure.
multiple sources of information, and you can make something totally biased. We just experienced a whole bunch of biases over years, and anything political has biases in it. So I think one of those things is as humans is how can we decipher all of this information? Because we are bombarded with information. And so then even when I look at this like DeepSeek that you're talking about, okay, I'm like, I know a little bit now more about it, but then how can I decipher between the biases? So like I would almost even try using DeepSeek and putting in a prompt and then using that same prompt, putting it in ChatGPT and see what you get, and then see if the biases are different from the AI from China versus the AI from the US.
But
And then
you're saying some brilliant points here, because firstly, when I was at school, leaving school, the debate and some of the kids were questioning the teachers, what's the point in remembering this? Because we can just look this up. Right. That was it. And I can tell you from aviation, I love flying. You fly and you can get a sat nav out, right? To fly. Not for the exam, you can't. Couple of things happen, right? If you wear glasses, you had to have two pairs of glasses because one could drop and smash. So you have to have a spare pair. Also, you have to know how to do it. So how you calculate it in an aeroplane, you get a thing called a whiz wheel, right? It's like a sort of like a draftsman wheel. It's like one plate slides on the other, and you got different figures on one, and you calibrate them like this, and it tells you. You've got to be able to use. It's called a flight computer, is this technical term. It's a mechanical computer, right? So you have to be able to use that to pass the exam. Once you pass the exam, you can use what you like. But of course, the electronic device, a sat nav, can go wrong. This low-tech mechanical thing will not. That's the logic I'm thinking. And the same, really, as we were told at school. Yes, you could use them if you like after, but you need to demonstrate that you can do it yourself. Blah blah blah, and the whole world carries on. I mean, I'm with you 100%, Amanda. It is about critical thinking. How do you make that critical thinking of, is this logical? Is this ethical? And is this true?
mm,
A friend of mine I saw last week, I saw him where I was there. He is very big into news. He always looks at news. But which channel do you believe? So he has an AI hat that tells you like a sliding bar on a series of metrics of the political stance of that news channel. So he looks for ones which are as near neutral as possible. And I say as near neutral because there's probably no such thing as absolutely neutral. But he looks at those because he wants to get the real source of information and an unbiased view, which you would think would be logical, but it isn't. But there we have it. I mean, you look at it, you read the news, and they talk about deep fake. Sorry, deep seek, not deep fake, deep seek. And the founder is Liang Wenfeng. And of course, Elon Musk challenged his claim about the chips. And that's what you get. There's always going to be a claim or a counterclaim about it. But the fact remains, it's out there, it's been done, and that's where you go with it. And this is the beginning. So where's it going to go? How can we use it ethically? And I think that is the key point. I mean, you talk about critical thinking. This is what I see a lot of kids, any captured of industry, politics, anything. What is it about? It's about critical thinking. That is one of the key skills of life. And I think it's really understated. And it worries me that it is understated because, especially now with things like this, evidence doesn't, something that appears to be evidence. And then that goes into fear. And what is fear? False evidence appearing real. Okay. And there's going to be a lot of false evidence put out there. It always has been, but this would merely amplify the propensity to do that. So critical thinking is going to be absolutely key, I think, for this period of life. So I think the longer we can instill that into ourselves and other people, emotional intelligence. I've been saying that I believe artificial intelligence will become really strong when we use that in conjunction with human intelligence. Our human intelligence, our emotional intelligence, critical thinking, all these things are going to be the great natural side to enhance and use ethically and properly artificial intelligence. That's what I think. Nomsa, what do you think? Just use it anyway, who gives a damn, or use it wisely, or don't use it? What do you think people should be thinking right now?
I think for me, I would say use AI because you don't want to we can be in denial. For business, mostly we can be in denial and say we don't want to use it. But at the end of the day, those who are learning to use it, they'll go further with their businesses. And also, I don't know why are they calling it artificial intelligence, because the AI does not produce original work. So why is it called artificial intelligence?
Well, it can combine work, can't it? It can enhance work. So if I put an idea of a project in and you put an idea and Amanda does, it can amalgamate that and give the key point. Think it quite simply of a meeting. If we recorded this and put it through AI, it could give a summary. It could identify 3 different voices. We could then assign it a name. Oh, that's Amanda's voice. And then it will remember that's Amanda's voice. That's nonsense and that's Grant. And next time when it hears our voice, it will automatically assign it to Grant, Amanda, and nonsense, because it will recognize our voice. It will learn. It will also say the German discussion took place and these were the key points that were made. And the actions were agreed were that Nobs will do this, Amanda will do that, and Grant will do that. It will organize, and then you can rephrase it. Could you rephrase that in this style? So it can amalgamate and take in the 3 concepts that, Nomsa, Amanda, and Grant made. But could you come up with a paradigm for that? But you go, oh, how about this? So it can embellish, it can enhance. So it's intelligent because it learns. Artificial, well, I don't know about the word artificial, because if something's intelligent, whoever said it had to be human in the first place? We just assumed because we were the only beings, the only things that were able to do it. So we assumed we are the only people or the only thing entitled to do it. Who said that? Where's the rule book that says that? It doesn't. It's just an assumption. It's just a belief. So maybe I question the word artificial, but I'm sure someone's got a great analogy for that there. But that's my thoughts on it. I don't know. What do you think?
I wonder if the idea of like artificial intelligence came from like sci-fi books.
Yeah,
From, like, 50
probably.
years ago.
Probably.
That's probably where it came from, and it just like stuck, right? So then
Right.
as our technology improved enough for us to be able to do this, then it just stuck, right? Like when you look at the roots of words and different things, then like if you look at the word hydro, right? Like it comes from here, and we have like hydroplane, hydroponics, right? Like hydroelectricity, all of those come from that root word of hydro. And even like my daughter the other day, she was reading something and she was like, I read the word hydroplane. I assume that it has something to do with water because of this, this, and this. And because she's studying for her driver's test. And I was like, yes, like good connections.
You got it. You got the whole idea. And
Yeah, like I didn't know what that word meant, and she's like, but I assumed it meant like water on the roads because the word hydro means water. And I was like, okay, like this is perfect. This is learning, right? But so I assume that the root of like the artificial intelligence probably comes from somewhere, that it's just shifted through time to become this, and that maybe it came out in like sci-fi books, but I don't actually know. I think that would be something interesting to look up for sure.
well, it's like the word hypnosis, right? How it came about. It was James Braid. I'm actually the chairman of the James Braid Hypnosis Society. But James Braid, he explored this idea many years ago and looked into it and decided, yes, hypnosis is a form of sleep, and hypno is the goddess of sleep, so hypnosis. And he did that, and the word got out to the modern parlance, and the world was grabbing onto this new phenomenon, is known as hypnosis. And they did, and about 6 years later he did some more research and discovered, ah, it's not a state of sleep at all. It's a state of trance. So he tried to change the name to a much less sexy sounding name, but it was too late. the horse was out the box. You know, the word of hypnosis had caught on, the world had latched onto it. And what's it called now? Oh, I forget. Yeah, that hypnosis thing, and it stayed. So we're actually using an incorrect description for hypnosis, but that's the world known. Hypnosis, hypnotherapy is incorrect. But like you said, it just gets out there. So was it a name from sci-fi? Maybe so. Maybe someone out there knows the answer. Please let us know. We'd love to know that. And yeah, AI, it's there. I mean, back to what we were saying about this, the release of DeepSeek's model did come out on the 20th when Donald Trump was sworn back in as US president. And that was deliberate, allegedly, says Gregory C. Allen. He is the AI expert on the Center for Strategic and International Studies. And that's where he thought it was strategic. It sounds like great timing to me. But he did it. But it is like everything, isn't it? It's making an impact. It's a PR storm. And what more can you do with it? What's the purpose of it? How could you use it ethically? So what I was taught last week was that if you're in a business, now again, not all businesses need AI, I get that, but if you've got a larger business with people and several different divisions, etc., you're gonna want to start to use AI because they're saying in 3 years' time, if you haven't, goodbye. Probably quite literally, goodbye. It will be a very, very sad ending for you. It really will. If you're not using it at the moment, if you don't need to use it at the moment, they're recommending you start to use it in your private life to get the hang of it. Because if you use it in your private life, it will make you more efficient. What do I mean? It will allow you to organize things and allocate some of the tasks you don't like to do, thus allowing, this is one of the secrets of success, isn't it? Allowing you to do what you do so well. Okay, so if you're a great creative, don't get caught up with doing the accounts if that's not your thing. Give that to someone who specializes in it. To a certain extent, could AI organize certain parts of that to prepare your accounts? Absolutely, it could. If you know how to do that, if you're a prompt engineer, if you know how to do it, you could. So get to use it in your personal life. It will make you as an individual more productive. If you then start using it in your business, it will make your business more productive. It's incredible what it can and what it can't do. There's lots and lots of things it can do and ways you haven't even imagined yet. Now, AI, what the people I know with AI, it's not just using one AI app. No, 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 no. It's getting this one to talk to that one. This is where you start to get a unique answer. Okay. I mean, to a certain extent, the answer questions we'll ask it, if they're particular to, can you apply this model to Nonce's business? Can you apply this model to Grant's business? There's going to be a different answer. Okay. So it's unique. But when you start using one AI app with another, it's staggering. This is when you start blending it. This is just like cooking recipes, right? You know, you make variations on a theme, but no one makes a cake quite the same. It's like that. Maybe you put a little few more berries in. Maybe you put a little bit more pastry mixture, maybe, and so on and so forth. But it's saying now you could use AIs with something else, which could do away with the need for websites in the future. It can fill out forms for you. Imagine that. Documents, how you doing them? It can fill them out for you in the future. It is staggering what it can do. Now, is there a danger to it? Of course there is. There's a danger to everything, and there's a plus to everything. It was said that it could bring about a conference I was at last year. I was saying extensive use of AI could bring about the onset of dementia. This is a theory. It's not proven. It's a theory because you're not using certain parts of your brain. But, however, could you then compensate for that by doing other brain exercises? I'm sure you probably could. And someone will find out exactly which ones you really should do to replace it. So everything has a plus, everything has a minus. It's probably like anything, using it correctly, using it morally, using it ethically, and using it with critical thinking is probably going to be the key. But either way you look at it, it's out there. The horse is out the trap. It's there. It's there, and people are using it every day. I joked with a friend. I spoke to a bank or something the other day. I can't think what it was, some call center, and of course it was an AI person I was speaking to, and and I said to my friend jokingly when I got off the phone, I said, that lady sounded really emotionless. And I said, yeah, I wonder why that would be. Yeah, of course it was an AI. We was joking. And I spoke to one a little while ago and it didn't answer the question. So I went through and spoke to a real customer service advisor. And they said to me, oh, what did the lady say to you just now? I said, I haven't spoken to a lady. You're the first one I've spoken to. She said, oh, no, the one, and like called it Abigail or something. I said, who? Oh, the AI app. I said, oh, that's not a lady. Oh, yeah, we call it that. I said, yeah, don't do that. Don't start normalizing and rationalizing. I will not be giving it a human name, okay? Because it isn't a human. Nothing against it. You're human. It isn't. Please don't start making it a family member and giving it a pet name, because that's not where I'm going to be going. So there we have it. It's there. It's being used. We can't stop it. It's a weapon for good. It's a weapon for bad. It's there.
When you were talking about speaking to like AI over the phone type of thing, that is one of the things that drives me absolutely bonkers. I'm like, just give me a real person. And I'm like, yell at the phone and I'm like hitting zero as many times as I can. I'm like, I only want to talk to a person. Like, I don't want to talk to AI. And it's so frustrating because it's like almost every company is going in that direction. And I really think it's going to ruin a lot of customer service things. Like it can be good for like the prompts at the beginning, like press
Mm.
1 if you want to hear English, press 2 if you want to hear French, like that sort of stuff. But like after that, it's like, just give me a human. It's going to take so much less of your time if you give me an actual human. And my time. My time is the part that drives
Yeah,
me
yeah.
stuck on hold with something. It's like, this shouldn't be such a like painful experience to call a customer service thing. It shouldn't be that painful, and it is, because and I think it is because of some of the AI stuff, like you were saying. You're like, I want to just talk to a person. Thank you. Like I wouldn't have called because I could have just looked it up on the internet. If I like, all of my answers are probably on the internet unless I actually have to call. And if I have to call, I just want to talk to a human,
Good point.
right?
Really good point. And I get that. It's some things just don't get it, and it's just the book says this. Like, yeah, well, that's not really going to answer the question. Quite often I get that. Did it work? Well, another thing. While we're talking about things that drive you mad, like we get things delivered quite a lot now, Amazon and so on, and couriers. I got something now, but I can't think what it was. It wasn't Amazon, but it was delivery. And then you get the email. How did our guy do? I'm like, what do you mean? 1 to 5? I'm not going into that. I mean, he delivered a parcel. I mean, he kind of went, and they showed me a picture of not him, but a kind of courier delivering. I thought, yeah, I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like when someone delivers something. I don't need an infantile picture. So this is the kind of thing we're talking about. Yes, I know. And then how did he do? I'm like, what? I mean, what? I mean, what did he do? He went bang and then threw it on the door and walked off. I mean, if you can't do that, frankly, you're a half-wit. I'm sorry. So, like, I'm not even going to score that. I'm not going down that road of stupidity. It's just like, yeah, I got it. So, like, that's it, isn't it? And I got it because he told you I got it. And, so what do you want to know? It just gets ridiculous. Can you do a quick survey? Why? Are you paying me for this? You're going to reduce the cost of it. Again, back to the first time I had to scan in the supermarket, scan your thing, and they stood there and said, "Do you want to, do you scan your own products?" I said, what are you talking about? And they said, "Do you want to scan?" I'm like, why? And they said, "Would you like to do it?" I'm like, and I genuinely said, "Oh, okay. What's the deal?" They said, "Well," I said, "What's the discount?" And I was genuine. I thought there'd be a discount if you do it for yourself. I said, "There's no discount." Like, why the hell would I want to do your job for you? No, I'll pay you to do. I don't want to do that. Why would I want to do that? That's what you're paying for. I said, if you want to reduce the price, I might consider it, but otherwise, no. No, they said, because you won't have to wait so long. I'm like, So you're successful, you've got more clients, and you want to penalise me and get me to do the job. So it's like hiring a bricklayer to build a wall. He says, "Can you just make the cement for me because I'm kind of busy?" It's like, no, it's crazy. And that's what I said to the lady. Are you serious about it? I said, yeah. I said, so what about the checkouts? Oh, well, we're not going to put so many people to checkouts. So what's going to happen to you guys then? Oh, they found work for us in the back store. Like, so they're going to keep exactly the same number of staff doing that. So they're going to have more stock. Is that right? Yeah, the management told us. And I said, is that what they told you? I said, yeah. They really did a number on you, didn't they? And of course, what's happened years later? The same supermarket, like one or two people on the checkout. And guess what happens on the self-serve? There's a damn queue to get there. I'm not getting there any quicker. It's just as long as it ever was. It's just the same price as it ever was. In fact, prices have gone up. And we're queuing just as long, and we're doing some of the work for them. Madness. And we entered into it willingly, like a bunch of lemmings, smiling as we ran to the edge of the cliff. There we go. That's my rant for today. But yeah, again, back to my thought. Are we going to use these things sensibly or not? I fear not. I fear not.
I
Based on,
think we should. I think we should. It's 2 o'clock, 4 minutes past two, guys. I know Amanda has to.
Yeah. I think you're right though, Grant. I think some people will use it ethically, but then if it gets into the wrong hands, like it's like
yeah,
anything, right? Like even when you look at so many different areas of the world, there's like people who use it ethically and do like really great things with it, and then people who use it on a dark side, and there's like that yin and yang, that balance, and hopefully that there always is a balance, right? Is what I would hope.
absolutely. I suppose in conclusion, we can't control how other people do things, but we can control how we choose to use things. And I think by very much going into what you said, Amanda, critical thinking is going to be key in that. So if I could give my opinion, and I don't think I'm really qualified to give advice on this, but if I give my opinion, I would advise or ask people perhaps consider upgrading your critical thinking when using these things, because the propensity to do good is huge. The propensity to do harm is huge. Use it ethically, use it wisely, and I think that will be a good moral compass. And you achieve great things and become more productive. That's what I think. What about you, Amanda?
I definitely think that we need to, as a teacher, consider like as the education system as a whole is how can we instill critical thinking skills into
Yeah.
kids about what they're seeing on social media, on the internet, on TV, because with the advance of AI, I think critical thinking skills are going to be like the most essential skill that we really teach, and also to be creative in and of ourselves, and then to be able to collaborate with other humans. I think those are the three pillars that we should be focusing on in school,
Well,
because what the school system is based on is like rote memorization, and that's not an essential skill that we're going to need in the future. So that's where I'm at with AI.
go. What about you, Namsa?
I think a critical thinking is still needed. Use AI, but use it using critical thinking, and just because you still need your brain. You still, my friend, he's so very clever. You find him arguing with ChatGTP, and you think he's arguing with a real person, but not really. I think now because you have a voice one as well, it's worse. They argue all day. So he uses ChatGTP. Is actually creating a gaming company. A game is actually finish the game, because the game you have to go to the next stages, the next stages.
Mhm.
So he uses ChatGTP to actually think, help him to think. And sometimes the ChatGTP goes that way, and it's not. But with maths, ChatGTP is no good at all.
With what?
With maths,
Max?
maths, subject maths,
Oh, maths. Sorry, maths. Okay, right. Yeah, yeah.
it is not good. I've tried to use it doing maths.
Really?
Sometimes it gives you the wrong answers.
Mm.
Yeah, unless if I give it some ideas and stuff, and then you put the numbers together. But it's not. Maybe now it's developed more and more and more. That was a few months ago when I tried it. But it saves so much time, guys. I don't want to lie. It saves so much time.
Yeah.
So critical thinking is really good. I think the world is going digital. So we have to accept it. And but we have to learn digital things as well. Go with it. Study computer skills. When we do what we do, we need the computer skills as well.
We do.
Because the AI is everywhere. It's here to stay, whether we like it or
Yeah,
not.
it is. It certainly is. Well, I guess as we close, I'm going to say to everybody, Happy Chinese New Year. It depends if you're from mainland China or Hong Kong, but if you're from Hong Kong, I'll say Kung Hei Fat Choi. Have a great time. I'm putting my red scarf back on, and many celebrations and especially those who are snakes, because it is indeed Year of the Snake. Happy Chinese